Hi everybody, we're going to take notes a little differently today. We're taking notes on the 7th grade Common Core graphing and writing inequalities from a number line. So this is the 7th grade lesson 4.1. We are going to be taking notes today on a sheet that was already provided for you. There is a list of key vocabulary. I'm going to read through them and then I'm going to ask you to go ahead and copy them down. The rule is if I write it down, you write it down, and then you're going to have to pause and start and play, pause and play throughout to make sure you have these definitions correct. Key vocabulary. An inequality is a math sentence that compares expressions. A solution of an inequality is a value that makes the inequality true. And then a solution set is the set of all the solutions. That's all of the values that make it true. So in an inequality, there's more than one correct answer. When you're graphing an inequality and that circle on the number is closed, that means that number is included in the solution. When you're graphing it and the circle is open, that means that number is not included. So go ahead and hit the pause button and copy down those definitions so you have them for your notes. An example 1. All right, we're going to tell whether -5 is a solution to this inequality. So it is 1 minus 2p is less than or equal to -9. So I go ahead and I take p, it says is -5, and I substitute that in part of the inequality. So I rewrite it as 1 minus 2 times -5 is less than or equal to -9. And then I use order of operations to go ahead and solve that. So I have 1 plus 10 is less than or equal to -9, and then 11 is less than or equal to -9. And because that's not true, 11 isn't less than or equal to -9, I write that -5 can't be an answer. So -5 is not a solution. In the second one, 4k is greater than or equal to k plus 8, and I'm saying, is k 3? So I substitute. 4 times 3 is greater than 3 plus 8. Is 12 greater? 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is 12 greater than 11? It's true. Therefore, 3 is part of the solution set. Compared to number 1, when evaluated, -5 is not compared. So you will be expected to go ahead and evaluate parts of the inequality to see if that solution is true or not. The next part is we're simply just going to be graphing. X is less than or equal to -4. So I have -4. Because it is included, that means it's also equal. I go ahead and I write a solid dot. And because it's less, I shade in numbers that are less than that inequality, which would be numbers like -5 and -6. In the next one, I have j is greater than 0.5. Now this looks a little different because the number is first compared to the inequality, so I may have to read it from right to left rather than left to right. So because j is greater, it's not included because there's no equal sign underneath. I shade in the line, and as you notice, I shade in the line as well as shade in the arrow. And I make sure when I'm graphing, I'm actually graphing on the line, not above it. So you have to pay attention to which direction it's going, as well as if it's included or not included by open or closed circle. All right, my next one says write an inequality. So I have to use that number line to go ahead and write. So describe the value of x. So x is greater than or equal to 1. I wrote greater than because the numbers that are shaded are bigger than 1, and I wrote an equal sign because it's a closed square, or a closed circle. This one is x is less than 4. The numbers that are shaded are less than 4, and I wrote less than and not equal because this is an open circle. And when we're writing, you need to make sure that you know that less than or fewer than is less than, greater than or less than is more. Less than or equal to, at most or no more than, all means less than or equal to. Greater than or equal to, at least or no more than is greater than or equal. All right. So if I'm looking at a number as at most -10, that means it can't be more than -10. The most it can be is -10, which means it can be less than. But if it's at most -10, it could also equal. So I write equal -10. These are key words that you need to make sure you're familiar with. If it's a minimum of something, that means it's that or greater. If it's a maximum of something, that means that or less than. So we need to focus this week on these vocabulary words. Please make sure that everything I wrote down, you wrote down. Thanks, guys. Make sure you're starting and stopping throughout. Have a good one.